Hey guys, it's LEGO Boy Z3. Today is my 20th Q&A. So today is Q&A number 20. So this is basically the series where I go through your guys' questions that you left on my last Q&A video and answer them. So be sure and leave an interesting question down in the comments below if you want to be featured in the next Q&A video. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Have you ever met Felix Zemdigs or Matt Valk? No, I haven't met those people, but I have seen people named Felix Zemdigs and Matt Valk at a competition before. Not sure about the similarity between those two. $100,000 or 100,000 subscribers? Well, I'm already kind of close to one of those, so I think I'd go the other direction with $100,000. How long did it take for you to assemble your Gigaminx, assuming that you did assemble it? Now, a lot of people asked about this because on my last Q&A video, I disassembled my Gigaminx completely, and a lot of people were doubting that I actually had assembled it by now, but I actually did do it like the same day that I filmed that video. It took me maybe like an hour, not that bad. If you could get any 3D printed puzzle and cost wasn't a factor, which one would you get? Well, I think at this point in time, the obvious choice is the 33x33, because I think he's actually selling them. He would actually make one for you if you paid enough money. So yeah, that would definitely be the one that I got. What is your PB in every WCA event? And also, list all your mains. You can answer both these questions by looking at my new PB spreadsheet. It'll be linked in the description down below, and also on my About page. I'll also have my WCA profile down there if you want to see any of my official PBs. All that is in the description. Lubrico Silk or DNM37. Now, both of these lubes are from the Cubicle, but they have totally different purposes. This one makes your cube incredibly fast, and this one makes your cube smooth and kind of more fluid. Honestly, I use this one more often than I use DNM37, just because I generally don't like really fast cubes. But basically, if you're gonna buy a lube from the Cubicle, it should be one of these two. Lubrico 1 isn't really worth it. Just kind of choose which one fits your style of turning. Now, somewhat related to that, what lubes do you use to set up your cubes? So for the most part in the hardware, I use Lubrico Black because it makes your cube actually a lot better compared to normal silicone lube. And then I use weight 2 in just the pieces of the cube. And then I use either DNM37 or Silk, or maybe even a combination of the two, depending on the feel that I like in the cube or just how it turns at the moment. Would you rather only go to US Nationals or go to every competition except US Nationals? Now, I'm kind of assuming that I'm not going to be actually forced to go to every single competition, in which case I would choose that option because there are plenty of other big competitions like Worlds that I could go to, whereas US Nationals is just one competition out of the entire year. Why can't you bring stickerless cubes to a competition? That's kind of a common misconception. They actually got rid of that regulation like 2.5 years ago, and you have been able to use stickerless cubes ever since. Basically, the reasoning was when you have a cube turn like this, I can see this orange color, whereas normally on a stickered cube you wouldn't be able to see that back color when the cube is partially turned. What is your least favorite N×N puzzle? Now, I'm assuming that you're talking about WCA puzzles because otherwise there'd be infinite of them, but my least favorite is probably either 2x2 or 7x7, just 7x7 because it's so big and I've never even gotten a success because the cutoffs are so low, or 2x2 just because it's really short and boring. Will you ever create a mod of your own, complete the original? Now, I think there are quite a few mods that I've made that I was the first person to make. Things like the Ready Cube barrel, the Pyraminx barrel, Scube barrel, Square One barrel, Floppy Cube barrel. I think at least most of those, I was the first person to make them. So yeah, there are those. As for an original idea, like not a barrel, maybe someday I'll make something cool that no one else has done. Do you have any cubes you can't solve? That's actually a very good question because yes, there are quite a few of them. There are some of them where I just kind of forget the algorithms all the time, like the Pyraminx Crystal and the Curvycopter. There's also ones like this one, which I just took apart to solve because it's so many little tiny crazy pieces. This one, which is like a 3x3 Curvycopter, I just don't know how to go about solving it. The Bandage Cube, strange enough, is actually pretty difficult, the Mefferts one. The 5x5x3, I never really memorized those cuboid algorithms, so I never really got too far on this one. And then also the Super Square 1 Star, this one's just hopeless. Can I be the last person in the 20th Q&A? No. Have you ever stopped cubing for a long time? Yes, back in 2011 was when I first started cubing. I got some cubes, learned how to solve them, got a big collection, and then I just kind of stopped for like 2 or 3 years until 2014 when I started my YouTube channel. After that, I had a couple months break for a little bit, but since then, I think for the past 3 years, I've made a video on cubing every week for the past 3 years. How do you sign up for US Nationals? Now, I believe since my last Q&A, they have released the location for US Nationals 2018, which is Salt Lake City, Utah. And just like any other competition, you go to worldcubeassociation.org, find the competition on that website, and then sign up for it according to the directions on there. You have to have been to a competition before so that you can qualify for some times to get into some events. But yeah, that's how you do it. What is the smallest and the biggest puzzle you have? Now, I believe these are actually both 3x3s. There's the Mario Nano Cube at 15 millimeters, which is my smallest, and also the Hishu super big 3x3 at like 18 centimeters, which is probably my biggest. If you could be a Rubik's Cube, which Rubik's Cube would you be? Well, definitely not this one, because this one's just dumb. Or for that case, any of these scrambled ones sitting here. I mean, this big one's pretty cool. Small one's pretty cool too. How about this one? Choose two and the remaining one will be gone forever. So we have Scube, Square One, and Pyraminx. Now most people who know me will know which one I'm going to choose off this list, and that will be Square One because Pyraminx and Scube are pretty much my favorite cubes. So yeah, Square One can go die. What is the best 3x3 blindfolded tutorial? Now there are a few good ones out there. I used Noah Arthur's video when I learned how to solve it blindfolded, but one good one that I've seen recently is JPerm's video. He makes a lot of good tutorials, so you can go check that out. His name's JPerm, just like the JPerm. Will you ever make a blindfolded tutorial? No, that just kind of sounds like a lot of work and a lot of difficult explaining to do. I don't think I'd be very good at that. Would you rather get a MoU 13x13 and solve it blindfolded or drop it 100 feet? Now, I don't think I could solve a 13x13 blindfolded even after hundreds of attempts, even if I learned how to do it. So I guess my only option left is dropping it 100 feet, which does sound like a pretty good video idea. Is your main still the Valk 3 or is it the GAN Air? Well, neither. Currently, I kind of prefer the MF3RS2M from the Cubicle. It's just a very good cube, set up very well, and yeah, it just fits my turning style really well. Why do you think CPOP is the most used 3x3 method? Honestly, I think it's just because it's the easiest method to get really fast at. I don't think it's necessarily the best method out there. I mean, the best one would probably be to come up with an optimal solution during inspection and then just do that solution. But I think it's probably the easiest to learn and get really fast at really quickly. When did you make your intro and can you change it? Now, I think I made my current intro close to 2 years ago, not quite. And I think I probably will change it maybe within the next year or so. But honestly, not anytime really soon. What makes you so happy to cube? I've been cubing for a year on and off because I keep getting bored of it. Honestly, I do get bored of like speed solving pretty often. I just keep on making videos, which is kind of what keeps me doing it. Honestly, if I didn't make videos, I'd probably stop speed cubing a long time ago. So yeah, I don't know, just making videos, I guess, and just doing new things like modding and other things like that. If you had to add a WCA event to solve with your feet, what cube would it be? Honestly, either this one or this one, both of which I have actually done with my feet before. Probably this one was more fun. Would you rather get the unbreakable world record for 2x2, 3x3, and Scube, or be able to solve every WCA event sub 30? Honestly, the sub 30 thing wouldn't help with a lot of cubes like the 3x3 because I'm already sub 30, but for like a 7x7, I think I'd choose that option just to see myself solve a 7x7 in 30 seconds. How long did it take for you to learn beginner CPOP? Now, if you're talking about just like the beginner's method, that would be like maybe a week on and off of learning new algorithms. If you're talking about like for like last layer or something like that, probably a few months of learning algorithms. But yeah, just learning how to solve a cube took me like a week. What is your favorite mod that you've ever made? It would probably be one of those big barrel cubes, like maybe the 7x7 barrel, that's the biggest one. There's so many little tiny pieces that it took forever to make, and it just looks really cool when it's scrambled, so probably that one. In your opinion, how much faster do you think the 2x2 world record single can get? It's like a half a second right now. Now, obviously, I think it's going to change at one point in time or another, whether that's like a year or like 5 years away from now. I think it probably can go down like maybe by 0.01 of a second a couple of times. It'll probably go down maybe 1, 2, 3 times in the next like 5 or 10 years. But yeah, it's not going to go anywhere super down far anytime fast. Now that is pretty much it for all the questions in this Q&A video. Now if your question didn't get answered, well, first of all, consider asking a better question next time. But also, leave those new questions down in the comments below, and I'll answer some of those next time. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I will see you guys next time.